And welcome to The Bike Show. A bit later on, we'll round up some useful tools for your workshop or your man cave.
Yeah, like this. Look what I've got. How cool is that?
Yes, that's very impressive, but I'm doing the intro, thank you. We'll also be talking to South Africa's TT legend, Mr. AJ Fenter, about his recent exploits at the Macau Grand Prix. But first, Donovan disappears up his own tangent. Again.
In 2006, Kawasaki gave birth to the ER6 twins. The ER6F, with the F standing for fairing, and the ER6N, with the N standing for, well... Soon they grew to be known as a happy, fun-loving, and somewhat mischievous pair, bringing nothing but joy to the thousands of people that owned them. And as is often the way with life, the twins have grown up and grown apart. They've even moved into a rebellious phase of their lives and gone as far as joining gangs. Now, the ER6N has joined the Z gang, with the likes of the Z1000 and the Z900, and even taken on the gang name of Z650. And as for the ER6F, well, it has taken on one of the most formidable names in motorcycling. It is now the Ninja 650. Of course, with the new club, it gets a new club uniform. Where the previous ER6F looked like it was dressed by its mother in clothes that she says it'd grow into, this new Ninja looks like it has had a suit tailor-made to fit. It looks epically good, just like a Ninja should. Underneath the fairing, there is some chassis changes too. Kawasaki has done away with the previous perimeter steel frame and fitted this one with a steel trellis version. Something that has been handed down from the king of all Kawasaki's, the H2. While this is all good and well, we begin with a little problem. This bike has exactly the same parallel twin 649cc engine as its predecessor, with that uneven firing order that gives it so much character. But the main difference is that the EU has fettled with this bike. They've introduced that funny new Euro 4 thing that has quite frankly choked it. Instead of making 72 horsepower like the previous bike did, this one now makes 68. But that's not the reason why I'm wobbling around this dirty go-kart track in my jeans. Kawasaki has managed to up the Newton meters from 64 to 66. But even more amazingly, they've managed to take the weight from 211 kilograms on the previous one, and get this, the new one, 193 kilograms. And that's amazing, that's 17 kilograms. This thing just feels amazing. Woohoo! These improvements have a big impact on the bike. A huge one, in fact. It's so good that this is now all the bike anyone could ever need. We realize that this is one hell of a claim, and we are so confident in this claim that we're going to prove it to you. We start with something very straightforward: commuting. Now even here commuting, this thing still looks beautiful. From the outside it looks beautiful, from where I am now it still looks beautiful. Handsome shapes everywhere, lovely dash, everything perfect. And you know, cruising along at 3,000-4,000 RPM, it's smooth, it doesn't rattle, mirrors look good, everything is great. Also, it just still feels so flickable. I could just take it anywhere, in between cars, in and out of parking, tons of turning circle, tons of everything. And it's just so easy to ride. You always think superbikes are, you know, uncomfortable and hard and difficult, but with this it just isn't. I'm feeling great right here. I just want to ride it some more, especially around town. You just want to ride it more and more. It's one of those sort of bikes that when it's parked outside, you're looking for excuses to go somewhere. You know, you just want to pop down to the shops because I don't actually need anything, but let's just pop down to the shops anyway. Flick through a few cars, you're there, and then take the long way home. It's brilliant. So it is an excellent commuter. But the name Ninja is not in any way synonymous with commuting. Does it live up to its name? To find out, we took it into the countryside. That's amazing. At 4 or 5,000 RPM, this is a beautifully smooth engine. But above that, it just takes all 68 horsepower and just kind of throws it in your face at once. It's so exciting. You know what they say is that the smallest in any group, you know, such as the smallest in a bloodthirsty flick knife gang, is always the overachiever, always the one trying his hardest. And that's true here too. I've got 68 horsepower, but I'm angry horsepower. Combined with a chassis that is so light, so flickable, so usable. This is not as scary as the superbike, but I'm fairly sure right now, on this bike, I'm having more fun. You heard it here first, I think I'm having more fun on this. Let's do that again. So it can thrash around on twisty roads on a Sunday run. But can it do the distance? Literally. Let's hit the open highway and find out. Now, as I'm sure most of you are aware, the Ninja series has never been traditionally good at touring. As a matter of fact, I think I would rather spend eternity listening to Matt whine about Donald Trump than go any sort of distance on a Ninja. However, this still keeps a lot of its ER6F DNA. Now, the ER6F was somewhat comfortable. And right here, right now, the seat feels really soft and cushy. The bars are raised, they're kind of up straight. And even though the screen doesn't look like much, it's actually got a hell of a good wind protection. And I could carry on doing this all day. If you told me right now, do 1,000 kilometers to Cape Town or 1,600 kilometers to Cape Town, I could quite happily do it. I really could. The suspension on this thing, I mean, it's not the most sophisticated suspension. I'm sure around a racetrack it'll cause some concerns, but over bumps and stuff, it's just great. It's really great. I'm not joking. I want to go to Cape Town now. At this point, the director told me to stop being an idiot and get back to the job at hand, which is putting the Ninja 650 in the last important situation. Here in South Africa, the adventure market is huge. So the question in everybody's head now is, if this is all the bike anyone could ever need, can it go off-road? Of course this thing can ride off-road, and we'll prove it. Look, here we are. That's the road. This is off the road. Let's ride and see what happens. Start it up, pull away gently in first. Going along, there we go. Don't stand because I'm not a pillock. And easy does it, gentle brakes, and stop. And there we have it. I managed to ride off-road without dying once. As we've just proved, this is all the bike you'll ever need. Back to the studio.
I am, in fact, in a little bit of shock, because behind us is a sensible bike that Donovan has raved about, which is not like him at all. We call him H2 around here, so you kind of know what he's after. But before I get to that, actually, Don,
Yeah?
I don't know if you remember, viewers, but last week he was on about testing a Kawasaki Z900.
Yes.
That isn't a
Yes.
Z900.
Yes, yes. Well, you see, the thing is, I had the Z900, then I rode that, and I kind of decided to ride that instead of the Z900.
Okay, so he makes it up on the go. That's great. That's great.
But don't worry, we gave you the Z900,
Yes, and
and
I'll
you're
be
going to
testing
ride
that
it.
for you next week.
Yes, so all the viewers who tuned in for a Z900, bad luck.
Okay, final thing, price. We haven't really touched on that. I mean,
No.
Kawasaki stuff, we don't ever know these. Sometimes it's expensive,
No,
sometimes it's
yeah.
affordable. And now?
Okay, it's 125,000 Rand, which is a bit.
That does sound quite a lot.
Yeah, all right, but more so, 125,000 Rand for an orange one. This one over here is 5 grand more paint job. It's 130,000 Rand.
You're joking me.
Yes.
So to get green and black,
It's called the Superbike colours, and it's got all the fancy colouring. That's 5 grand more.
so you spend 5 grand to get the sticker kit to make it look like a ZX-10,
Yes.
which it doesn't look like. Okay, so it is a bit expensive. The competition is all a little bit cheaper. Is it still worth considering, though?
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you, okay, the closest one we have in South Africa is probably the NC750.
Yeah.
It's 10 grand cheaper than this thing. And if you're buying with your head, go with an NC750. If you're not using your head at all, you're just using your heart, buy that.
Sound advice. We will be back after the break with a South African racing hero.